Okay, everyone. So while we give people a chance to sign on, this is the stockpickprofits.com daily market update. We talk about the market conditions. We talk about a little bit about everything. So while we give people a chance to sign on, let's go over the legalities, the disclaimer. Past performance is no indicator of future performance. We are not registered investment advisors. Anything in this show is for entertainment purposes only. Nothing in this show is an offer to buy or sell any tradable item, options, stocks, whatever. We do sell a subscription service. Always read the disclaimer at the bottom. Welcome, Norris. Welcome, Roland. Let's let a couple people more sign on, and then we'll go ahead and get started. But that disclaimer is always important. You know, it's always important to read the disclaimer. And we've actually saved some the marketing emails that we get, and we're going to show you some things early next week why you should read the disclaimer. You always hear us talk about it. You always hear us beating it into you and warning you about it. Let's see some real life examples, right? Anyways, so we'll give them just a couple more seconds. Let's put on the old guys looking for a place to trade, looking to build some wealth. That's where you go. But okay, so we got a couple guys in. Let's go ahead and get started, okay? So it was an interesting day today. The NASDAQ pushed up to an all-time high. You can see the numbers there too. The Dow ended up about 60 points, pushing towards that 27,000 again. The S&P took the 2,900 level and held it today. It was up about 16 points. And the NASDAQ keeps pushing higher. You're wondering why the NASDAQ keeps pushing higher. All you got to do is look at Amazon. Amazon was up about $60 today. So Apple and Google participated with that too. And that really, you've got the big three. When all three of those are clicking in unison, you have the makings of what you got today. And that was just a constant push higher. We're still short the Qs. And we're going to work our way out of that trade. And we'll talk about that too. We'll talk about that. And just like last week when we were long the Qs and we got that middle of the week bad news cycle and it kind of put them in a bad position. We talked about how we worked our way through that trade and ended up with a profit. We're looking to do the same thing with this Qs. There's a couple ways to handle it, and we'll talk about it over the shows. So look, let's go ahead and get started. You know, today it was kind of an interesting day. There wasn't a big news cycle, right? I mean, there's just kind of little fluxes of news. Donald Trump is at it again with the media, and it's for good reason. If you go to our front page on Investing Lovers, you'll see that we posted a little article today, and rather than just rattle off the fake news BS, we actually included some links that show what fake news is and how it rears its ugly head, right? You guys go read that article, man. It was good. The trade team put that together. It was really good. But you know, with the market up towards these highs, and let's put the numbers up because we're going to talk about something today. We're going to do something a little different today. We're going to go straight into trade ideas because this is kind of a fluxy time for the NASDAQ, right? I mean, we're at all-time highs. It's just pushing higher. No sign of slowing down. Really reminiscent of January 2000. I mentioned that to the trade team today, how much it felt like January of 2000, where people would just buy on those tech stocks. Now, this run could be real. There could be 8,300, 8,500, maybe 9,000 in the cards, but it's starting to get that feel where people are just throwing money at the board. Now, 2-3 weeks ago, it was the opposite complaint, right? There was just no energy in the market. There was just no commitment. There was not a lot of money in. A lot of money was sitting on the sidelines and stuff like that. But now it's the opposite, right? You have to wonder, are people too euphoric? Is the FOMO trade kicking in and it's going to all of a sudden turn into a big market fall? The FOMO trade, of course, is the fear of missing out. The market hits these new highs. They've got a bunch of money in their portfolio. They start thinking about it and they're like, geez, I'm missing the train, right? Amazon up $65. How come I wasn't in that? Blah, blah, blah. So then they start jumping in. And guess what? The guys that bought in earlier at lower levels are starting to cash out. They start to cash out, and then the folate trade comes in, right? The fear of losing everything. So it's a really, really unique time when you're at a top like this. You don't have a lot of technical analysis because the market's never been here before, so you don't have back charts to check and things like that. Really, you can only use your indicators that are real-time forward indicators, like your MACD and things like that tell you exactly what's happening within the market right now. So, look, let's talk about trade ideas. What if we are on the cusp of a big sell-off? What if? How do we play that? Now, we're not ready to make that call. We think there's a pullback, like real imminent in the markets, but we don't know how deep right now. We need to see some other indicators to verify that. But let's go straight into the trade ideas, because what are you going to do? How do you make money on a down short market? Now, everybody always says this about us, is we play the down market better than we play any other market. And it's true. Brexit, the Trump election, all that. We made tons of money, and we expect to make tons of money if this market bottoms. Like we said, we're short the Qs right now. Short the Qs. We're still long gold. We have the short in Twitter, which Twitter had a rough day today. So we're very encouraged with that trade. Really, the only trade we've got on the board that's looking kind of testy is that Q short. But we talked about it in the group today, and we have a plan going forward over the next 2 days, how to wind into this, out of this trade, and get some money in our pockets. So if you're not getting that kind of advice, if you're not getting somebody standing by you on a trade, look, how many of these services just tell you, buy this, it doesn't work out, it works out, it doesn't work out, whatever. I mean, there's no, hey, this is how we can work out of the trade and salvage it. Hey, this is what we can do to make sure that we don't give up all our money. That's the key right now, how you manage those trades. If you're not getting that kind of advice, go ahead and click the link. Because we're going to work out of this QQQ short, and we talked about it a little bit in our private group today, and we'll talk to you about it after the fact, always after the fact. But look, let's talk about trade ideas. What if the big short's coming? Let's look at those numbers one more time. Okay, you look how low that VIX is all the way on the right, the red box, the only red box, right? We're still under that 13 level. So look, there is absolutely no volatility in the market right now, but is volatility expected? How's the options looking? The options are your forward buyers, right? Are the options, are people starting to put a lot of put options? Are they starting to buy call options on the VIX? Because if you anticipate the VIX going up, you're anticipating the market going down. So these are little indicators. You can see how other traders are playing this. And at some point, if we see what we want to see, or expect to see, we'll set up some short positions. But let's talk about the stocks that are potential shorts going into this. So, you know, if you're trading on your own, but you're watching the show to get good insight and stuff like that, you know, this is where it's at. Let's talk about it. One of the first ones we'd look at is Dick's Sporting Goods. Dick's Sporting Goods, they're the ones that changed their gun sale rules and stuff like that. Well, guess what? Today they came out and they said that they lowered their year-end traffic because their store over store sales, because one, they're losing the gun buyers, and two, Under Armour sucks. The sales for Under Armour have been down. So that's a nice little cop out by Dick's. If I was long on the stock, I'd seriously be thinking about getting out of it. I'm not real confident in management that they would make a decision like that over the guns without thinking forward, right? Look, I don't care what you say about 1% versus the 99%, whatever it is. I am an investor. I expect that CEO to do everything in his power to protect my investment in his company. So, you know, people can, Elizabeth Warren and all them can rattle off all their BS, but you think she's not doing what we're doing with her portfolio? You bet. She's got a professional manager that's doing the same thing. Dick's made a big strategic mistake by their management, and it showed that they do not care as much about their investors as they do as about their Twitter account, right? It all started with the Twitter account, right? All this big what is it, the SJWs and stuff, they attack Dick's on Twitter. They say they're not going to sell this certain types of guns and stuff. Dick's loses the customers, the stock goes down. Guess what? Everybody loses, right? Bad decision by the management. So the first one we look at is Dick's. Now, of course, Dick's just kind of gave us the clue to the next one, right? They just told us Under Armour sales are weak. Dick's is one of your biggest big box sporting good franchises on the planet. So if they're having trouble selling Under Armour, probably Foot Locker is too. Probably everybody is, right? So let's take a look at Under Armour for a short. And then you want to get a nice basket, right? It's hard to pick which one's going to go down and which one's going to go to the farthest, right? So why pick one? Go with an ETF. Which ETF? Go with the tech. What's been on the big run, right? What's been on the big run lately? Tech, right? What just mindlessly has been going up, right? Tech, okay? So that's their other short idea. QQQs. The QQQs is a basket of tech stocks, tracks the NASDAQ. Tech sells off, the Qs go down. The other thing you want to do is you want to put a little long play in there, right? On the VIX, right? We know when the VIX goes up, the market goes down. So if you're expecting the market to go down, nice little opportunity there is your VIX. Going long on it. So you see how you can have a nice little blend there, right? You can have some shorts going on, some longs going on. We right now as a service have longs and shorts going on. We like to play whatever we can play. We just look to make money. So like we said, we'll talk about that QQQ trade over the next 2 days because it's kind of gotten to a position where it's looking real ugly, but we have an exit strategy. So we'll talk about that with you guys, the viewing public, as we go along. You members already know we're starting to talk about the plan in the group and stuff like that. And we're going to take a good hard look at it in the morning. So, all right, gang. So besides that, I mean, the news for the day really, it was the Trump against the media. There's just a lot of anti-media stuff out there right now. And I'm going to just say this on the media, okay? And we said it in that post on I Love Investing. Look, democracy cannot survive without a free media. But the biggest enemy to democracy is a lying media. Okay? And remember that. Next time you read a CNN article where they're caught lying and they stand behind the article, right? Next time they take a headline and they switch the words around so it looks different from what it really is. Okay, you remember that. You remember what CNN did for you. Nothing, okay? Don't give them ratings. Don't give them views. Don't give them clicks. Don't give them anything. That's how you pay it back. Just like the NFL, right? We're at the point, look, again today, Odell Beckham just signed a $95 million extension. $95 million extension. We haven't heard anything good from him about it. How did it help his family? How did it help his friends? How did it make it possible for him to change lives around him? How did it change his life? No, you know what we heard about it? I feel like an animal in the zoo. Well, I got news for you, Odell. With celebrity and fame comes the zoo, animal in the zoo. That's just the way it is. It's been that way from the beginning, way back when cameras were invented, right? You have big celebrity, you have overzealous fans, you have people bothering you at dinner and stuff like that. Nobody's looking at you like you're an animal in the zoo. And that's a very interesting interpretation of what's going on. And it's just another reason I won't watch football ever again. It's just more of the BS. And I'm going to tell you something. When he said this, he was talking to LeBron James. They were having a little forum, right? And LeBron agreed with him, right? And it's just an interesting interpretation of what's happening, right? Every celebrity's gone through this, black, white, Asian, whatever. It does not matter. Every celebrity goes through this. This comes with it. You can always give the $95 million back and slip back into a nice private life. You always got that choice. This is America. You're free. Isn't that great too? So you guys remember this kind of stuff, okay? Because I'm going to tell you something. I was watching that whole thing with LeBron and Odell, and I realized something. I want you guys to take this to heart. Their biggest problem right now is they have become what they so despised. They are the 1% now, right? So they have to make it look like, it's the pity pot thing. And that's what really pisses us off about it, is it's the pity pot thing. I only make $95 million. I play a game for 7 months out of the year. I make $95 million. I feel like an animal in a cage. You know what I mean? Come on. I wish I had your problems. Anyways, so let's go ahead and go to the questions. That's enough for that today. Remember, hey, let's just review it because it's been a kind of quick show. Remember, this NASDAQ's at a big top right now. We think there's a little euphoria to it in a pullback. Is it a real pullback? Will we get some bad economic news? All the economic news right now is good, right? For the last 4 or 5 days. The trade news is all good. The economic news is all good. The only thing that's not working out is the housing sector, where the prices aren't doing what people are expecting to, and the loan applications have gone down. Well, we knew that was going to happen when rates started rising, right? We know that people are going to kind of back off loans and things like that. You don't want to pay more interest. Maybe you were thinking about second finance, things like home equity loan. That people back off that stuff, so it's expected. And so, I'll get to the comments just in a second. So I just want to review this. So if you're looking for shorts, you just look to what you've been hearing, right? On the trade ideas, right? Dick's Sporting Goods, right? Terrible management. We just explained why. Under Armour, if they're doing poorly at Dick's, which gets all that foot traffic, you can imagine how they're doing at other stores. Right? So that's another potential short. And then get yourself a basket of stocks. Get yourself one stock that covers the whole market, right? The QQQs. Go right to tech. Now, if you don't want to short tech and you think maybe the S&P 500 is going to get hit harder, you go with the SPY. And that's the same thing, just the S&P 500. And then you throw in a little long trade there, right? Stay a little, swim a little upstream and hit the VIX, right? Market comes down, VIX goes up. Market goes up, VIX goes down. Right now, like we showed you in the numbers, the VIX super low right now. That 12 is crazy low. So look, if you're not getting live personal advice like this, go ahead and click the link. Let's go to the comments. All right, we'll start there. Welcome to all of you. Welcome, Jeff. Rule King, yeah. I mean, we'll take a look at that, Jeff. But right now, we've got a pretty good watch list that we're in. We're in a few trades right now. I think we're in about 7 or 8 trades right now. So right now, we're not putting real new ideas on the board. We're kind of working out of this QQQ short. And we also have this Twitter short that's really working out. And a lot of our stuff is lined up towards the end of next month because we're seeing some stuff going on. So we're kind of looking at ideas, but the player might be happy to know I have no clue who he is. God bless you, Sever. Oh, I love it. And that's, it's funny too, right? If you told them that, well, I got a friend and doesn't even know who you are, right? You'd probably get offended by that, right? It's like, what do you mean you don't know who I am? Do you know who I am? Goddamn babies. $95 million baby. I mean, and that's the thing that really upsets you about this. You hear nothing good about it. Nothing good. What did it do for your family? We know these NFL players always participate in charity and stuff. Talk about it. Share some of the joys of it, right? There's always downfalls with celebrity. There's always downfalls with fame and fortune, right? But there's some fantastic things. Talk about it, right? I mean, your life is charmed. Share some of that with us poor people. Anyway, so look, looks like that's all the kind of YouTube. Oh yeah, you bet, Jeff. Hey, look, steel. We always like to talk about steel because we're long AKS, and we also own some U.S. Steel X shares. And there's quite a few people that follow the show that are into steel. So we try to make it a point to mention steel. Steel had kind of a flat day today, right? X was kind of a little bit up, a little bit down. Where did it close? Let me just check where it closed today. Yeah, it closed down about 3 cents flat. So, and it was kind of up and down during the day. AKS closed up about 2 cents. It's still pushing that 450 level, but still, the U.S. steel still messing around that $31 level. We think once it moves, it's got a little point, breakout point right above $32, that there's probably an opportunity to play some options. U.S. Steel X is tough options to play because the premiums are always very, very risky premiums, because everybody knows this stock can go up $10 in a heartbeat or down $10 in a heartbeat. Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, Jeff. I absolutely appreciate it, man. I appreciate the support. Well, I want to thank all of you for viewing today. You know, it's Wednesday, hump day. Let's call it a day. We'll get back at it tomorrow. We got some work to do with the QQQ short we're in right now. You know, we thought it was starting to roll over this morning, and then that thing just kicked back in. Amazon just went friggin' nuts, man, today. One point I think we were looking at it, it was up $65, man. Yeah, see, it closed up $65. After hours, it's already up another dollar. So, you know, there were some things that just kind of swung into it and pushed those cues a little higher. But we don't want to give up on the trade right now because we see some things, and we really thought it was starting to roll over this morning. Now, that was very, very strong by the NASDAQ this morning. And like we said, reminiscent of January 2000. And we'll see how it plays out. But you guys have a great afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us. Those trade ideas, as always, you know, you can just keep reviewing the show and stuff. Make a little watch list and keep an eye on them. See how well we do with throwing out those trade ideas for you, okay? All right, gang. You guys have a great Wednesday afternoon, hump day. Do something better than watching football. Anyways, have a great day.